Hello everybody, and a warm welcome to Berringer on this Sunday afternoon. And I have a layout update for you. And I was hoping to go to Morwood to give you this layout update, because that's where I was intentionally going to do the work. But instead we're going to town. So let's go to town. So at this end of the layout, nothing much has changed. But I had stalled on some work in town for some time. I hadn't really got round to doing it, and I'd stopped. And then I did a little bit of work, and it spurred me on. And I guess it's to do with the fiddle yard that I'm working on currently. And as you can see, it's still pretty much as is, except that I've started to do some work along here. And basically, you got back on the matchsticks. Just creating some curbs and stuff, because I was just trying to work out the new parking for the shopping area. And I also did some curb stones for the edge here. So what I've been doing is basically just mapping out the roadway, and you can see my little RCL here. When you look at it like that, I actually like this view from the viewfinder. It's a nice look. And if I pan back a touch more, you'll see that we've actually got an extension here, and this is the bridge section that I think I showed you some time ago, which I'd stopped working on. This is the sort of side where I'd actually stalled. Now what I've been doing is basically mapping out the whole paving. I mean, I haven't done the curbs on this bit yet, but basically I've got the matchsticks to curb that all the way around, and then obviously the paving will then sort of blend in and go in, and that's how we're kind of looking. I'm basically marking out the road, and you can see where I've just used a card just to mark out the pavements. Oops, and I've just knocked my lorry, and then my little lorry is here. But what I had been doing, I mean, I've done the bridge, but what I had started doing is previously, when I'd mentioned to you about the shoe polish, and the shoe polish works great, I have to say. It's a very cheap and cost effective way of doing it. And I just applied it using a stipple brush, and in fact Hobbycraft do these pack of 4 brushes for about £2, which is next to nothing, and they're good for jobs like this, where you can just stipple it on. And what I did is, as I think I showed you before, I'd actually stippled it on and used a fine turf. But now what I've done, as you can see, it looks slightly different, because I've added the static grass application all the way across. And basically what I did is I got another one, because there was 4 of these stippling brushes. I used one of them just to basically lace it with PVA glue, and basically paint it all over the greenery and the base, and then after I went over it with a static grass applicator, and basically where the grass has fell, it's where it's fallen, so you can still see in places where it's bare, which is exactly how it is in real life. So I'm really pleased with the effect of it. I've also gone the next step of ballasting this side, so that brings it closer again to the fiddle yard. So it's one of these things that I think the cabinet has kind of like spurred me on to actually to get on and do this side, to start linking it all up and marrying it all up. So if you kind of see it from like that, you can sort of see how it goes into town and how it runs underneath the town scene. Also, I've got my heat resistant paint out, which is really good stuff because it's matte and it dries matte, and basically I just brushed it on, which is fine because I'm pretty happy with it, because it gives you a kind of a texture towards the road, so it's not kind of just a flat smooth surface. So I'm quite glad with it, and it's kind of got the brush marks of it, and I'm really pleased with it. I haven't marked out the road yet because I haven't worked out exactly where the road is going to go as such. But I do have a back scene for this as well, which is the same back scene as that, which marries up with that board there. I just haven't put it up. This is the extension area, which is the bit that I've been really working on the last few days. And again, it's all plain, but it's kind of, what it's done is it's linked up the 2 sections, the lift up section and the short extension bit. As you can see, there's a lorry parked up here, my DAF, 300, and that's because I think I mentioned to you some time ago, and it has been some time, is I'm going to actually put the B&Q in that corner, and that lorry, where that lorry's sitting, is kind of like the delivery access for it. So that's kind of the plan over there. I've then started, like I said, I've also ballasted right up to the end, and I've created an endpoint for where the scenic part finishes completely, and then it will flow into the fiddle yard. And as you can see from the top there, you can see that I've actually just added another shelf unit up there, and that's something else that I've been doing, whereas yesterday it was just literally just a flat surface. I've now added another shelf unit, so I can have some more storage up there. And so I'm going to be painting that, so that's going to be the next thing I need to do, so I can then lay the track for the fiddle yard. So that's what that's all about. The seam section's currently been taken apart because of the fact that I'm going to be extending the fiddle yard, but it's nothing to really be too worried about, because a lot of the stuff that's there is going to be reused and rehomed, and whatever can be used will be used, so it won't go to waste or anything. It's literally just the stuff that isn't going to be needed, like the mesh and the paper and all the rest of it. That sort of stuff that will get chucked, but like I said, all the other stuff, anything that can be salvaged will be salvaged. I did like the idea of doing the seam section, but it goes back to what I was saying before, that if I wanted to run 5 or 6 coaches, it needs a start point and an end point, and this is basically going to be the start point, and the TMD is going to be where it kind of ends, but that's going to be like a mini fiddle yard. So that's why if I left the seam section and the TMD, then obviously it wouldn't have the sufficient length to be able to do that. So I'm pretty pleased with the way things are. Like I said, I was hoping to work on more wood, but nonetheless I'm happy with what's been achieved. As for this section, I should probably just pan out and give you a brief idea what's going to happen. I'm not quite sure if I've told you, the bridge is basically made out of card. It's light, and it will just completely lift off completely, and then the lift up section will just lift, and the gap between that point there and that end is sufficient enough that when it's raised it doesn't knock onto the end of the board here. So that's why this bridge has to be removable, which is why it's just made out of card. But what we're going to do is we're going to create another type of embankment on this side, except the road that's here, as you can tell, there's a roadway link here, and that's basically going to sweep down towards ground level and probably veer off somewhere, and then there'll be a kind of like a lower embankment, so it'll start off quite high, and then after it will just slope down till it sort of gets down to ground level. So that's kind of the plan for that. But I've run out of rocket card glue and stuff like that. I've got the card, but I've actually run out of the rocket card glue as well, so that's something that I need to get tomorrow. So that's about it for Berringer and the update for you. And if I quite like this kind of look, that it kind of does look very, very scenic along this section. So yeah, so that's the update, and feel free to comment and subscribe. Obviously there's a lot more detail to go on, and probably some more bushes, but yeah, I'm really pleased with the way this has all turned out. And when I have a more of a layout update or a running session, you'll all be the first to know. So take care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday, and I will speak to you soon. Bye for now.